This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Arvada, Colorado. We're at Gluten-Free Things. I've caught up with the co-owner, John Irvin. Since 2009 has been providing gluten-free products out there for folks here in the Arvada, Denver area. Let's start off first of all, John, what got you involved in this type of industry?
Well, I'm actually a mechanical engineer. I've been baking for most of my life, just as an amateur and experimenting and doing a lot of different things. I became allergic to a lot of things back in 2009, and my wife has been promoting gluten-free for about 25 years for health. So a buddy of mine was playing with the idea of gluten-free. I found a way to be able to include engineering into the process and experimentation, and decided to get into the gluten-free baking.
Why do we hear so much about gluten-free?
What has happened is a series of a bunch of different things. Genetically modified organics to a point where the gluten has become extreme, and some people are very, very sensitive. It would be kind of like a person eating a bowl of ice cream compared to eating a couple gallons of ice cream. It'll upset their stomach. Well, with respect to the celiac or celiac sprue, which is actual true disease that people becomes allergic in their upper intestines, what happens is that the gluten actually attacks the body, or the body attacks the gluten. People start losing their villi, which are in their upper intestines. They start becoming not able to gather nutrition from the food. Once they have eliminated wheat, barley, or rye from their diet, their upper intestines clear up, and they actually will become healthy.
You're talking about folks out there that not only have an intolerance to gluten, we're talking across the board, it's healthier.
Yes, I actually about 15 to 20% of my customers now are athletes, like cross trainers and stuff like that, who are electing to not eat wheat, barley, or rye, or eat that type of gluten because they feel more healthy. And it's easier to digest and stuff, and they actually say they feel a lot better.
Speaking of gluten, what type of foods are we finding gluten in the most?
Gluten is a very cheap filler and is used as a thickener. Anything from ketchup, mustard, of course it's in wheat, barley, and rye breads, but it's in a lot of things that you would never think, sometimes even ice cream.
Interesting. Are we sacrificing a taste when we were talking about gluten-free things?
It used to be. Back when we started in 2009, we did a lot of testing with respect to what was on the market. We did eat some things that I came up with the marketing saying gluten-free shouldn't taste like the box it came in, and sometimes that food that was in the box actually probably tasted better. There's been a lot of advances in the different kinds of starches and gums and the grinding of the flours and stuff. I would say in the past year and a half, it's probably about, say, halfway there. Everybody's got their own taste. But the thing is, with respect to gluten-free, that's what I have worked on. We want to work on when you eat a chocolate chip cookie, it tastes as close to a real chocolate chip cookie. And what we do is we use really good types of chocolate, like Barry Callebaut or Ghirardelli. We use good butter and stuff like that. And then next year I'm going to be working on a vegan line, which I'm going to try to achieve the same thing, good tasting food.
Wow, so good tasting food boils down to good quality products that you guys are putting in it.
Yes.
A lot of people have been doing gluten-free out there. I know you really want to contribute to the industry. What makes you different?
Well, what I've found is over the years, being an engineer, is that a lot of times engineers have their tunnel vision. A lot of times bakers and chefs have their tunnel vision. What I've been trained in is how to think as an engineer. And what I'm doing is I'm approaching baking and this gluten-free from an engineering standpoint rather than from a baker standpoint.
Right.
A new approach. I'm learning all kinds of new things, so I probably can discover things that other people just take for granted.
From a whole different perspective, you are absolutely a pioneer.
I hope to be, yes.
Wonderful. Let's start out first of all with breads. So you're actually baking them right here on the premises and making them available. What's the most popular bread you got going right now?
My three that I make right now is a multigrain, a white bread, and a focaccia bread. And focaccia bread is an Italian ethnic type bread. One of the things that you can do with it is dip it in marinara. One of my customers, Shangri-La, down in Highlands, actually uses it as like a panini type of bread. Slice it in half, is gourmet ingredients in, and puts it in a press. What I'm trying to do for my customers is trying to make it as close to the real thing as possible. But I'm always going to be, advancing. White bread, we're still working on improve the volume. I mean, I got a great flavor, but I'm still working on comparatively to making it as close to the real thing as possible. But we're pretty close.
Wonderful. And speaking of what you mentioned earlier, my sweet tooth, we're talking about cookies. What do you got in the way of cookies?
Oh, we got chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, peanut butter, which we've got our own secret ingredients for it. We use peanut butter, but also our own flour that gives it that really good peanut butter flavor. And then also we have a double chocolate brownie that we use 2 different kinds of chocolate. I want the flavors to really be bold so that people can really enjoy the food.
And what's great about it is you actually have a facility here where you're able to kick out some great fresh product. Let's say somebody out there wants to bake their own stuff. Do you make the dough available as well?
Yes, right now what we're doing is a lot of the frozen cookie doughs, muffin batters. I'm going to be working on the brownies, and for the fall what I'm going to try to do is have some of my breads will be available in a tray that they'll be able to take home and proof. Say on Thanksgiving you want fresh baked bread, I want the customers to be able to actually take it home and bake it. Also, we're going to be selling the dry ingredients that they can actually take and mix their own self. Now that's a little bit of a difficult process, only in that gluten-free is very, very picky on, you have to do it exactly the right way, but they'll be able to use the exact ingredients that we use, make our good tasting products.
So you're talking about putting the magic in a bag right there for folks. They just have to mix it up and take it home.
That's the idea. I want people to either be able to come in, buy the product already made, or take it home and be able to bake it just as well as we can here.
Sounds like gluten is pretty much across the board out there where you can find it, so you're never going to fall short of putting things together. What about bagels, pizza dough?
Have bagels and they have pizza dough. We actually we sell probably about 30-40 pounds of pizza dough a week. We have a couple different kinds. We have an Italian blend. We also have a plain. With the pizza dough, you can make breadsticks, you can make calzones, you can make a regular pizza. Also, some people are making garlic bread and pigs in a blanket. And then with respect to our plain variety, take it and roll it in a little bit of cinnamon sugar, have a cinnamon stick.
Wonderful, folks. If you take a look at the bottom of the screen right there, what you're going to see is his website. And if you go there, you're going to see a gallery of all different things that we've been talking about and quite a bit more. A lot of folks are understanding that optimum health is what's at stake here when we're talking about taking gluten out of your diet. Let me ask you this, John. Been doing it for a couple years. How is the public embracing you?
Fantastic. The whole idea behind the logo and everything else was the first important thing was gluten-free. And that is the attractant to people, and they come running, basically. We're going to be starting here doing a lot of advertising for gluten-free things. Eventually, we're going to be opening up a grocery store that will be called Gluten-Free Depot that will have strictly gluten-free things, not only our stuff, but everybody else's stuff, so that the customers can actually come, be confident that what they're picking from the shelves is gluten-free already, but we're going to have a different variety of dairy and all that kind of good stuff. Arvada is a great community, and I think very healthy.
I love it. I mean, it sounds like a gluten-free family you've got going on here. And are you also collaborating with other gluten-free producers?
Yes, like for instance, Sweet 8, which is a frozen yogurt that has a full line of dairy-free, kind of a sugar-free. It's sweetened with fructose. It fits my customers' profile on what they want for diabetics and people who are dairy intolerant. They got some great flavors, and also like their cookie batter and also their cake batter is gluten-free, which many of the other ones on the market are not gluten-free. And I'm going to be bringing in a lot of other products from the outside as I grow some of the other smaller bakers that produce a really good product and have a hard time getting them in front of the public, or allow them to be able to, share it with the public better.
Take it all right there. Gluten-free things. That's with John Irvin here. He has produced something here that quite honestly was a need in his home, and now he's out there sharing it with other folks across the board. I mean, a lot of people are lining up and understanding what you've got here, which I think is wonderful. And not only is the product good on the shelves, but the customer service you're going to find here, I know that basically the values come across the table. Giving back to the community's got to be big for you.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of sponsorships, like with some of the high schools and stuff like that. We're going to be sponsoring like car shows and some of the athletic clubs. And also I'm very involved with the chamber and also the Arvada City Council with the festivals and activities group. I'm trying to give back to the community because I live in this community and live 5 minutes from here, and I think it's important.
Once again, contact information at the bottom of the screen. If you have any questions, you can also go online right there and find his contact information as well. That's Jay Irvin at glutenfreethings.com, and he can answer any questions for you that you folks may have out there. And remember, to you viewers, for a lot of folks, gluten-free is not just an option, but for folks that want optimum health as well, come on down to Gluten-Free Things here in Arvada, Colorado. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.